Hello, everyone. Welcome to AI Seeking the Truth. Got another encounter for you, and I may even have something else for you. What do you all think about going boots on the ground on this channel? Jesse brought it up, and I think we're going to do a daytime boots on the ground coming up on this, and probably even some nighttime ones. I mean, we're getting a lot of EVPs, we're getting a lot of paranormal when we go out on our cryptid hunts, so I think this channel may fit into some of the areas down there that have more paranormal than they do cryptid. So we're going to go down and explore some of these areas, and it will be boots on the ground here. So if you haven't subscribed, you're going to miss boots on the ground here also. This channel is really fixing to pick up, guys. I can feel it. It's really going to go big. I have no doubt. All right, guys. This next encounter we have here is a gentleman that says he was abducted by an alien. Now, he does have a warning at the end of this he wants me to share with everybody that he does believe is very, very important. And I think I have to agree with him wholeheartedly that I have experienced something while doing this with Sarah, so we will see what happens. A sense of wonder that I had never experienced before. The stars seemed brighter, more vibrant, and I felt a deep connection to the universe. I knew that I had been changed by my encounter, Mike, and I was eager to explore the mysteries of the cosmos that I was taken to. That's already scary to me right there, guys. As I continued to study the stars, I began to notice strange coincidences and synchronicities in my life. I would see patterns and codes in the most unlikely places, and I felt a sense of guidance that I couldn't explain. It was as if I was being led toward a greater understanding of the universe, and I was eager to follow that path. Now, my encounter had also sparked a newfound interest in the paranormal and the supernatural. Mike, I began to read books and watch documentaries about UFOs, ghosts, and other unexplained phenomena. I felt a sense of excitement and wonder as I explored the unknown, and I knew that I was not alone in my experiences. As the years passed, I continued to feel a deep connection to the universe and the mysteries that lay beyond our understanding. I knew that my encounter had been a life-changing experience, and I was grateful for even just a small glimpse beyond the veil that I had been given. I often think back to that night and I wonder what was happening, what was trying to communicate with me. Was it a message, a warning, or simply a demonstration of its power? I'll never know for certain, but I do know that my encounter has had a profound impact on my life. The memory of the night will stay with me forever, a reminder of the magic and wonder that lies just beyond the edge of our reality. And as I look up at the stars, I feel a sense of awe and wonder, knowing that there is much more to the universe than what we can see and what we can touch. In the end, my encounter with the alien being had been a catalyst for change, sparking a newfound interest in the paranormal and the supernatural. It had opened my eyes to the mysteries of the universe, and I was grateful for the experience. I knew that I would never forget the feelings of being in the presence of something greater than myself, and I was eager to continue exploring the unknown. As I look back on my life, I realized that my encounter was a turning point, a moment that changed my course of my existence. It was a reminder that there is more to reality, and there is also more dangers in the places we don't expect them. So what happened to me is I decided to go fishing one night down an old dirt road on the lake, away from everyone, the city, the hustle, the bustle, just a peace and quiet. I had done this many, many times before. I'd watched the falling stars, I had watched the satellites move over, and I'd listened to sounds in the forest that scared me at times. But this night was a little bit different. I noticed that there was a kind of a glow in the woods, kind of like something was just beyond the darkness. It was enough light that you could see, but not enough where you could see real well. I had sat there for a while fishing, and I had begun to get bored. The fish weren't biting, but it was still a really nice night. It was cool out, and I didn't want to go home because it was such a relaxing, peaceful night. So I laid the blanket out onto the ground, and I stretched out and just enjoyed laying there amongst the quietness, with my lantern on and my pole still in the water, hoping for that bell to ring, just hoping that I would get a bite. And it was at that moment, I was bored, of course, and I was laying on my back, and my flashlight has the strobe setting. I turned the strobe on and started shining it at the stars with it strobing, looking at the beam of light going through the sky as I had done many times as a child. Then I would put it on the regular beam and I would shine it and point out the stars and just look at the beam going up through the sky, just pretty much laying there being bored. But then I noticed something kind of strange. A star in the distance, it started mimicking my strobing light. I would strobe it, then it would strobe. I would do it for a short burst, it would do it for a short burst. Then I turned my flashlight on, a steady beam. And that's when it came toward me. I thought, oh man, I've done it now. I've shined my light on a helicopter or a police helicopter, and now they're going to come over here, and anytime the police are going to show up and they're going to bust my nuts on this. So I'm laying there and I'm waiting, and nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, the wind picks up like a slow breeze in the night, but it's a little stronger than a breeze, a little off. It was in a circular motion, and the reason I know that is in front of me there was a dust devil that appeared as it spun out into the woods with the leaves and the dust and a few old pop cans that were left laying. And that's when the bright light encompassed me. I was covered in this bright light that I couldn't see. The wind was blowing, and the next thing I know, I felt this sharp pain in the side of my neck. And then I woke up in what I presume was an aircraft. Now, I cannot be sure of this because I could not look out the windows and say that I was looking down at anything. But what I can tell you is the movement in my stomach from this thing moving, I knew that we were moving, kind of like a carnival ride. I could tell that we were going up and down and that we were actually in motion. These things, I was strapped to this bed. It was almost more like a hospital morgue bed, like where they would embalm you, stainless steel, not comfortable. There was a bright light above me, and I was afraid. Then I hear the walking. It sounded like hooves, and when I looked, there was three, I guess what most people would call aliens or gray men, standing over me, looking down into my face. I was afraid, and I was scared. I laid there. I couldn't talk. It was like sleep paralysis. I could think, I could hear, and I could see, but I was unable to speak or move my body. Then one of them pulls out a small beaker, more like a vial, I guess. And they take these long, looks like tweezers, and they stick them down into this vial. And they pull out, the only way I can explain it is a short little black looking worm. The other one walks over with an instrument. He places it over my eye. I'm now unable to blink. My eye is burning. It's almost to the point to where I can't stand it. They take the little bug, the worm, the creature, whatever you would call it, and they place it in the corner of my eye. I feel it crawl in my eye and to the back of my eye and then across over toward my nasal passage and then up through my forehead, and I could feel this sharp pain into my head. And then it stopped. They were looking at me, pressing on my stomach, pushing on my ribs, pulling on my legs. One even done the weirdest thing. It counted my fingers and toes. And then, all of a sudden, there was a sound of like an air release, like a high-pressured air release, and I felt another sting in my neck. At that point, I woke back up on the ground, on my comforter, staring up at the stars. Now, the weird thing is, my flashlight was missing. Could not find it anywhere. I got up and I left and I went home, thinking that I had fallen asleep and this was all a dream. A week later, I'm laying in my bed, and all of a sudden, the bright light, the sting in the neck, and I reappear back on that old table with the feeling in my stomach that we are moving all around. They do the same procedure on me, except for they extract the bug, which was worse than when they put it in. It's like it was holding on. I could actually hear it squealing inside of my eye or inside of my head. They put it in a beaker. One walked over again, took my blood from inside of my leg, from the inside of my leg. It hurt tremendously. And they had like black rubber hoses that ran down that they were, I guess, draining my blood from. I thought this was over. This was it. They're going to bleed me out right here on the table. Then the air sound, the pain in the neck, and I'm back in bed. This hasn't happened to me in about 3 weeks, Mike, but I'm afraid they're going to come back and they're eventually going to do me in. I am so scared. I have blessed my house with oil on every window and every door. They have not been back, and I pray that they never do. But if anyone is ever out in the woods and you experience these things, get the hell out of there. And whatever you do, don't strobe the sky. For some reason, that gets their attention. Thank you for listening, guys. That was a little weird one. Pretty scary to me. I'm going to make sure Sarah listens to this one. You'll see her comment, but I do want her to hear this one and get her opinion. But again, guys, we're going to start having boots on the ground here. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel, as it is my backup channel, and we're going to blow this one up, guys. Thank you so very much. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Good night.